And hello there. In this video I'm going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial, and that tutorial is going to be on why tanks leak and how might you fix them. So here I've got myself a Smock Baby Beast tank, and what I'm effectively going to be doing is taking this apart and just showing you why tanks can leak, because one of the biggest problems I get in my shop is people coming in and saying my tank's leaking, and 9 times out of 10 they will say to me, "Oh, it's faulty." Well, it's not faulty. Well, it kind of can be, but it's almost like people think that it can just develop a fault, you know, like a car can or something. And but with tanks, there's always a good reason why it's leaking. 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, it is user error in one way or another. You know, if you drop it, for example, while that's an accident, it's effectively still user error. So, what can cause a tank to leak? Well, the first reason is quite simple. You can damage it. You can break the glass. There you go. You can break this glass quite easily by dropping it or standing on it, sitting on it, leaving it in your handbag and leaning against it, leaning in a pocket and leaning against, anything like that can just crack the glass. And in some cases, you might not even realise it's cracked. It could just be a hairline little crack, but that will be enough for the e-liquid to start leaking out. So the fix? Well, the fix is quite simple. You replace the glass. Unfortunately, not all tanks come with available glass. And as you can see here, for example, actually the Baby Beast comes with a spare piece of glass in the box. And you can buy, for this particular one, you can buy the replacement glass. And in fact, with most major brands of tanks, and in particular the slightly pricier ones, and I'm basically talking about tanks over about £15 and over, you should be able to buy replacement glass for it. So glass, dead easy. You can either replace it. If you can't get replacement for it because it's not available for that tank, unfortunately there is not a damn thing you can do about it, and you effectively throw your tank in the bin. So that might be a tip for you when you buy a new tank. Just ask the question, can you buy replacement glass for this particular tank? So what else can cause a tank to leak? Well, one of the reasons I chose the Baby Beast is because the Baby Beast, I don't know if you can see those there, is bottom airflow control. So effectively when you're vaping, when you take a draw and breathe in, the air is drawn in through this hole here, and there's a corresponding one on the other side there. And your coil, which is this bit here, sits in there, and you see that effectively that's a chimney there, draws up through here, the air draws up through here, through the cotton which is soaked in e-liquid, and you inhale and you get all the flavour. Okay, so that's that. Now then, so if the coil sits in here and screws in, it's got a nice tight fit, there is no way oil can get into the bottom of this tank and then leak out through these holes here. So if I poured liquid in there now, it would in fact leak out straight through those holes. So if I put this in, screw it in, hold on, let's get it right, didn't want to thread it, right, screw it in, okay, now nice and snug, okay, and that will now not leak. And why won't it leak? Because on here, let's get this right, where are we? On here, oh, for God's sake, right, is, I don't know if you can see them, just there, black seals. Now these seals are neoprene. Now they stop your tank from leaking, and when you get that nice snug, you just tighten it in so it's a nice snug tightness. Don't over tighten, because if you over tighten you can actually damage these seals. Also, these seals can become dislodged sometimes, and they might not fit properly. So check before you put your coil in that these seals are sitting properly. If not, just make sure that if your tank is leaking from the air holes, take your coil out and just give an inspection of these coils, these seals here, and just make sure they're in good condition. Because if not, the oil will leak out. And again, when you put that in, you simply tighten it in so it's a nice snug fit. So, and bear in mind, one of the other most common, I would say, especially with new vapors, reasons why tanks leak is because actually people don't tighten it enough. And that's what you want. Just where your fingers start slipping, that's it. Don't start getting pliers, otherwise you'll damage those coils. But make sure it's a nice tight fit, because again, if you don't tighten it properly, oil will get down the side and will leak out of these bottom airflow holes here. Your glass goes on, and again you can see there's a neoprene seal there. Now in the case of this tank, and in fact most tanks now, quite a lot of tanks work this way, and you can see there's another neoprene seal just sitting there, okay? And as you can see, that screws in, and I don't know if you can see, you can just see there through the glass, that neoprene, the clear one I've just shown you, sits on top of the coil. And it all pulls together and just tightens. And that's it. That's as much as you want. You don't want to start writhing it, okay, and using pliers, as I've seen some people do, then over tighten it, but just a nice snug tightness. And that tank will not leak, okay? Now, some of the seals, not the ones on the coils, but the ones on the tanks, these can be replaced. And in fact, I mean, again, Smock give you a small pack of coils, as do, again, most major brands with their more expensive tanks will give you a set of seals to go with it. And the reason for that is because manufacturers know that the seals do go on them. And again, with most of the major, more expensive tanks, you can buy these little packets of coils, these little packets of O-rings. And again, they're easy to replace, it's easy fix. Now, replacement glass tank, assuming you've used the spare one that comes with it, about £5. A pack of coils, £1, £2 maybe, depending on the manufacturer. Replacement tank, £25. So you can see by making sure you buy if you're going to go for a decent tank, and by asking the question, can you get replaceable glass and coils for this tank, you could actually save yourself quite a bit of money by not having to replace your tank. You simply replace the component that has failed. And in the case of a tank like this, which is a fairly common design now, there's only two things can go on it which would cause the tank to leak. One is the glass cracks, one is one of the seals fails, both of which can be replaced. And saves you replacing the entire tank and throwing a perfectly good tank in the bin. So just be aware that the two main things: make sure your tank is tightened properly before you rush back to your local shop or the place you bought it from, panicking that it's somehow faulty. And also just check those seals and give the glass an inspection, make sure there's no cracks and make sure there's no seals damaged. I can guarantee you, if you check those things 9 times out of 10, you're going to quickly get to the bottom of what's caused your tank to start leaking. So, and just bear in mind though, never over tighten. Otherwise you could cause yourself even more problems. Any questions? You know, I'm always available here at Cloud Vaping UK. You can always drop me a line via the website, phone us, email, messenger, anything you like, and we can have a chat and give you some advice on how to solve these little problems. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.